Elon Musk running Doge and posting weird photos of himself like this, these like weird AI photos that say, Doge is not dismantling the government.
Down goes Duncan Dad.
Great job, Donald Trump, and your idiotic regime filled with people like this, what they call themselves anti-DEI. They're more like DUI hires.
Did you see Trump just casually nuke the stock market with a Twitter tantrum? The Dow Jones dropped over 944 points. That's 2.5% after our commander-in-tweet decided to call the Fed chair a major loser for not fixing his tariff mess. Meanwhile, even Fox News is calling his trade policy a chaotic mess, as CEOs are already planning layoffs. But don't worry, folks. Trump's too busy sharing classified military secrets in chat rooms to notice your 401k just melted faster than his orange makeup under studio lights. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Breaking news! The stock market just had a meltdown bigger than Trump's when someone tells him his tie is crooked. Remember those glory days when Donnie would strut around bragging about how the economy was soaring higher than his self-esteem? Well, that ship has sailed, crashed, and is now sitting at the bottom of the economic ocean.
Closing 2.5% lower. The NASDAQ 100 down 2.5%. The Dow was down 2.48%. The headline on the front page of the Wall Street Journal's website, as Alex Cole says, this is just so we can see like who these people are. This was Pete Hegseth when he was a Fox host before becoming the Secretary of Defense. Doge is just removing the parts that never worked. Change my mind. And then he does like a bullseye emoji. I mean, these people are so immature and just so utterly odd. We'll see with the Tesla earnings.
Let's take a peek at the carnage, shall we? The S&P 500 is down a whopping 16% from its 52-week high. That's not a dip. That's a crater you could fit Trump's ego into. And if you thought that was bad, the tech-heavy NASDAQ is performing even worse. Poor Nvidia and Tesla are getting absolutely hammered, with Tesla dropping 7% before they even reported earnings. Talk about a vote of no confidence! But what's behind this market massacre? Well, our first expert, Dr. Tiffany Tweetonomics from the Department of Presidential Temper Tantrums, points to Exhibit A, Trump's relentless attacks on Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Our commander-in-tweet couldn't help himself, publicly calling Powell a major loser for not cutting interest rates. Because nothing inspires market confidence like the president trash-talking the person in charge of monetary policy. Meanwhile, our second expert, Professor Bankrupt McFailure, chair of failed business studies at Trump University, demonstrates Trump's brilliant tariff strategy. It's like throwing a brick through your own window, he explains, then screaming at the glass repair guy for not fixing it fast enough while also charging him extra for the privilege of cleaning up your mess. The real-world impact
will yield results soon enough to ease the strain. It shows the performance of the markets since April 2nd, where Trump declared Liberation Day. Someone with no military leadership experience, who the only things that he's run, these nonprofits, he like ran them into the ground when he was in charge, which we here at the Midas Touch Network called Great Depression Day or Liquidation Day. Let me just repeat the headline one more time. Dow headed for the worst April since the Great Depression. Nightmare news for Donald Trump right now as he woke up to see that his approval has plummeted to the lowest point it's been so far on the Reuters and Ipsos poll. Only 42% of Americans approve when it comes to the economy.
CEOs across America are already planning layoffs. One executive was caught on tape saying, "We're thinking about it right now. We don't know what's going to happen because the game keeps changing." Translation for those who don't speak corporate, Trump's policy chaos has us so confused, we're considering firing people just to be safe. The cherry on top of this economic disaster Sunday? While investors typically flee to treasury bonds during market downturns, they're currently selling both stocks and treasuries. That's like abandoning a sinking ship and then setting your lifeboat on fire. The 10-year treasury yield is climbing, which means investors are dumping these supposedly safe assets too. On screen, we've got a split view that tells the whole story. Trump's Twitter feed proudly proclaiming best economy ever, right next to a live ticker showing the Dow in free fall. It's a perfect storm of presidential Twitter tantrums, tariff chaos, and investors losing confidence faster than Trump loses cabinet members. That split screen of Trump's delusions versus market reality tells only half the story. What's happening behind the scenes is breaking every economic rule we thought we knew. When was the last time you saw investors running away from both stocks and government bonds at the same time? It's financial panic so rare that economists are freaking out like they just saw Bigfoot riding the Loch Ness monster. Cuts to our financial experts at a playground. Let me show you how markets normally work, says Dr. Francine Fiscal, adjusting her comically oversized glasses while pointing to a children's seesaw. When stocks go down, people get scared and buy safe government bonds, which makes the seesaw go up on this side. It's basic playground economics. Dr. Fiscal suddenly grabs the seesaw and hurls it through a window with surprising strength. But that's not what's happening now, she screams, breathing heavily. Investors are so terrified of Trump's economic finger painting that they're dumping everything and running for the hills. Cut to mock interviews with Wall Street experts. Yeah, we're selling treasuries too, says Brad Bilo, adjusting his power tie nervously. Would you trust government bonds when the government is run by a guy whose business strategy was, let's see if people will buy steaks at sharper image? That's like asking a pyromaniac to watch your matches. Animation sequence begins. We see cartoon Jerome Powell desperately trying to warn cartoon Trump about economic dangers, while Trump sits on a throne made of gold-painted styrofoam, fingers in ears, yelling, "Fake news!" and "I'm a stable genius." Our narrator explains as the animation shows an economy car with Trump at the wheel. The Fed literally said the tariff increases are significantly larger than anticipated, with effects including higher prices and slower growth. The car's tires deflate while the price tag on the hood keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Dow headed for worst April since the Great Depression. It's from Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal. And then the subheadline says, few think the administration's negotiations with trade partners
On New Year's Eve.
Gunner got
Wow, who would have thought that that guy would make a terrible Secretary of Defense, someone with these horrific allegations against them. But I know all the Trump regime and MAGA Republican senators were like, fake news, fake news. Oh, and then you got people like this.
Cut to high-tech war room with blinking monitors. Our experts huddle around screens, tracking Trump's Twitter feed with elaborate equipment. Suddenly, alarms blare as a tweet appears. "Incoming!" shouts an analyst, diving under a desk as lights flash red. On the wall, two giant counters tick in opposite directions. Minutes since Trump's last economic disaster tweet, 0, and average 401k daily loss, $872. We've calculated that each presidential Twitter tantrum about the Fed costs the average retirement account holder nearly $900, explains our analyst, pointing to a graph showing losses exceeding $24 billion nationwide. That's like paying almost $1,000 to watch a 73-year-old man have a digital temper tantrum. And there we have it, folks! The orange financial genius has crashed the market faster than he crashes his golf carts at Mar-a-Lago. All because he couldn't stop throwing a tantrum at the one guy actually trying to save the economy. You know what's really hilarious? The next family dinner, when your MAGA hat-wearing uncle starts praising Trump's economic brilliance. Just whip out your retirement statement and ask how all that winning is treating his wallet. That's our show! Remember to smash that subscribe button for more economic meltdowns explained with sock puppets and the worst Trump wig we could find on Amazon.